One does not always meet a horse doctor and surgeon. Dr. Nurul Hayah Khairuddin operates on farm and larger animals too, the largest being a giraffe. Meet a woman at work who has turned her thirst for knowledge into one of the few horse doctors who also rides horses to understand them better. Her passion to share her knowledge and to grow a community of horse riders who are knowledgeable and responsible sets her apart. If you're not a horse lover yet, I'm sure you will be one by the end of this podcast. We're back at the Women at Work series of Ask the Boss podcast. Today, we have with us Dr. Nurul Hayah Khairuddin, Head of Department of Farm and Exotic Animals Medicine and Surgery, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, Universiti Putra Malaysia. Welcome to Ask the Boss, Dr. Nurul.
Thank you, Datin Sarina, for inviting me to join this podcast on Ask the Boss.
It is really my pleasure. You are essentially a doctor and a surgeon for exotic animals, for farm and exotic animals, and your specialization is in equine and large animals.
Yes.
First and foremost, why did you choose to study veterinary medicine?
All right. This is an exciting story. It started off when I finished my SPM. I told my father I wanted to do a program directly into the university, and I want to do a program that is not confined into a building. So I want something that is outside. And in the biology background. So we listed down, we sat together at the table and list down all the universities that have a diploma program. So among the program that I listed down that time was Diploma of Animal Health and Husbandry at Universiti Putra Malaysia, Diploma of Political Science in diverse, but that's where my interests are also in, and in a few other diplomas that is biology based. So what we did that time, my father sent me, guide me to go to these universities, and at that time there's no internet or no such things. So the only way for you to find out is to go there and find out, ask from the right people. So I remember the day that I went to Universiti Putra Malaysia, in which this is the alma mater of my father, so a dear place for him. And he dropped me in front of the, at that time, Jabatan Sains Haiwan, and he said, look for somebody inside that building that can tell you about the Diploma of Animal Health and Husbandry. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. So I walked into the building, and then went up to the one stairs. This is a small building, and asked the staff there, is there anybody that can describe to me about this program? I showed a Diploma of Animal Health. And he said, oh, the head of the department is here. I asked him if he would like to talk to you. And to my surprise, the head of the department said yes. And I went in and spoke to the department, the head of the department.
Such a kind head of department to speak to.
I know.
You were fresh out of school at the time. Yeah,
exactly.
To give him your time.
Yes.
To give you his time to explain to you about the course.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
I know. I think it's risky for me, because I went to his office. Dr. Zainal Aznam, his name. So he sat on his chair, and I said, please, doctor, because the staff member already call him doctor. So I said, all right, I call him doctor. So, and please tell me more about this subject. So he showed me pictures and some of the assignments of the students on the table. And he said, this is a tough course because you have got to go to the farm. It's all hard work and dirty, and it's not going to be easy, and you've got to score very well and all that. And I said, oh, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. And he said to me, No, you go home after all the description that he gave me. I straight away set up my mind. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill up the UPU form here. I said, no, you go home, you fill up the UPU form. Think about it first. I've made up my mind. I said, no, go home first, he said. I said, okay, fine. So I filled up the form, UPU form for that diploma and diploma of animal health. And the next day I came back and I told the secretary, he was not there the second day, and I told the office staff that please tell Dr. Zainal Aznam that I made my mind for this course. Okay, they said. So on the day of registration, so after that, after school, I work at Section 9, McDonald's.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And wait for the UPU result. You know, it takes few months in the Malaysian system. So, and finally, when I accepted for the diploma, on the first day of registration, I came to him and said, Doctor, I'm here.
And he was there on the first day?
Well, not exactly first day, but I managed to see him because he's a prominent man, so you cannot miss him. So that's how I started in UVM. That's in the year of 2000.
And it didn't take long for you to go on to be a PhD in this area,
Oh my
right?
God,
You
yes.
got a degree, and I was going through your biodata, and you got a you just no, there was no stopping you, right? You went on to get a degree, and then we went on to get your PhD from the UK.
Yes. Well, Alhamdulillah, I think Allah has helped me a lot. My pathway for the diploma, you were given the choice to finish in 3 years or to finish in 2 years. 2 years, that means you got to finish in 4 semesters. So I remember the lengthy discussion over the phone. You know, we have the public phone.
Oh goodness, yeah.
So I'll be calling. I was on the phone with my dad. Of course, my dad again. Because saying this opportunity to cram all the credits in 4 semesters, I said, go for it. That means I've got to take up to 30 credits per semester. Can I manage that? Yeah, you can. But the seniors are saying a lot of things you can't carry, it's too heavy, it's too difficult. That's them, but not you. I said, okay, but you know, we are not confident. But I have a family, parents that are really supporting me in giving me the courage to do more than normal. So they push me, say, you haven't done it, and yet you're thinking of all the negative things. Just do it. So all right. So I signed up for that 30 credits per semester. You know, it's not easy, but managed to finish the diploma in 4 semesters, and straight away go for the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program. So that's how I shorten. I have like shortcuts in life. So diploma for 2 years, when other people do the diploma for 3 years or 3 years and a half. And then when I did my degree, that's for 5 years. And then after the degree, Alhamdulillah, I was offered the scholarship to pursue PhD. So I quickly send emails, phone calls, whatever that I can reach. At that time, we already have internet, so we can like send emails to overseas and follow up with phone calls. Waiting, I remember waiting at the office after 6 o'clock because calling UK.
Yeah, 8 hours, 7 hours behind.
Yeah. So at 6 o'clock, and the secretary was like, "Why you want to make phone calls at 6 o'clock?" Oh, just wait because this is in the UK. So these kind of things speed up because within like so quick, I got response from the UK. That was from University of Glasgow. So upon graduation, I graduated in 2007 from Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. Sometime in July or August, like that, finish with the convocation. And by March 2008, I fly out to do my PhD. So that's 6 months of gap. So I didn't wait that long to straight away from degree and pursue a PhD. I didn't do a master. I straight away do a PhD. And that's a risk. Huge risk.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So if let's say somebody else asks me, should I go straight away for PhD? I would advise them do a master first.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be less stress.
Right.
But
Because
it
I suppose the
depends
transition from a degree to a PhD, it's of course, it's huge, and you wouldn't have had the benefit of doing a master's and learning about
it's steep learning curve, and it's just that if you can do it in stages, that's better, because with high risk, there's possibility of failing, So, but I put that aside. There's no way I cannot not do the PhD. I must get it done and done. So that's what
veterinary
happened.
science. It's not an easy course. It's one of the most difficult courses at university, as I know it.
Agree?
Yeah,
Agree.
What would your advice be to young school leavers out there from the science stream? I'm sure you have to be from the science stream to study veterinary medicine. What would be your advice to young school leavers out there who is considering taking up a course in this field?
Right. Okay. In our academic system, the most important that you have got to score well for your core subjects, core science subject. That's the biology, chemistry, physics, maths, English, and last time we had 6. So 6 to the core subject. So you have got, especially for biology. And for school leavers, if you want to go into the line of medicine, be it human medicine or veterinary medicine, the concept of biology have got to be understand with passion. It's not just you study biology because you want to pass exam. If your intention is to pass biology and get A because you want to go for medicine or veterinary program, you'll be in big problem because you don't have that passion of understanding the biology that would help you later in life, especially later while you're going through this program. Because you see, the biology knowledge, be it basic, the most basic from the component of the blood cells, it will be applicable to whatever clinical knowledge that you're going to use later in life. So foundation has got to be ingrained in you, as if you must understand the biology as not because you want to pass exam. So you must have that interest. You see, when I was at school, I'm a bit of a problem because I read a lot of National Geography.
That's how your interest came about in animals.
Yes,
and the geography, basically.
Yes, and I know the magazine is not cheap, but it's just I like to read. And when you learn about biology at school, and you have to have added extra reading from somewhere else, and for me it's always the National Geography. And I'm and whenever I can get to read something related to biology, I will read further. So be in whatever topic, so it strengthened my knowledge in biology that I learned in school, and I don't rely for just the textbook, because textbook, when you read textbook or do your training, your like academic writing and all that, that's for the exam. But it's not for to fulfill your desire for knowledge.
In a way, you could link what you studied at school in biology to what you're reading at National Geographic.
And this is a problem because I ask difficult questions to the teachers.
All right, in school.
Of course.
Right.
I remember I questioned the teacher related to the thinning of the ozone layers and the political situation of the whole world. And then she was like, why is she thinking so complex? And I was like, yeah, okay, the teacher cannot answer my question, and I've got a lot of difficult questions that I need to find out on my own.
Right. At the time, we didn't have the internet for you to get all your answers.
I've got one particular question, that's related to the human anatomy. They said women have got one less rib than the men.
Oh, okay. Right.
No, the men have got one less rib because it's given to the.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was thinking, and I asked the biology teacher, how many ribs actually the men have, and is it true that the men have got one less rib than the women? And of course, she wouldn't be able to explain to me in this manner. So I went to KL. I took the bus to Perpustakaan Negara. I went to the ground floor and asked for the atlas anatomy of the human body and count the ribs. I said, they have the same ribs, the same number of ribs. And why do they say there's one less rib? So when I went for another, it has been a question that has been ongoing in my mind for many, many years. Until I went for a, what do you call that? Terjemahan. I went for a translation seminar, Quran translation on Surah An-Nisa. So I asked the Ustad, is it true? Can you comment on this metaphor? He was saying about the metaphor that the ribs of the woman comes from the rib of the man. So I said, but this is not the scientific explanation. And he said it's a metaphor, the Arabic metaphor, like a peribahasa. So I said, it's a peribahasa. No, somebody already answered me the question I have in mind for so long. So this kind of complex mind of mine had caused me a lot of trouble because I question a lot of things. And it's not easy when you don't have the channel, the right channel to ask these difficult questions. But imagine when I went into the university and the professors, they questioned me back, and they've got enough depth and wisdom, they are able to satisfy my question. And I said, university is a place for me. It's just
fantastic.
because
you found your calling.
Yes, that's the right word to say. Because if, let's say, now at the university they taught me, you have so many questions. I teach you how to find out, to answer your own question. So I think that's the lifelong learning that intrigued me to be able to pursue PhD. Because when I pursue PhD, it's like answering my calling. Because this mind of mine is active. It wouldn't stop. It's like you open a dam, and it just keep flowing. It's just you don't know how to channel it, But with the PhD, you need to collect it, and then it become the moment you open the dam, then you generate electricity. Then you make use of it, So that's a PhD for me.
Right. And is that one of the reasons why you chose to specialize in equine and large animals? And when I say equine, of course, horses. Yes. And there's just so many questions about horses, right?
Yes.
Is that one of the reasons?
You see, yes and no. Okay. As my horse background, I start late in life. I've got the opportunity to be with the horses when I went into Universiti Putra Malaysia. So at that time, as a diploma student, you've got to do practicals. So at that time, that's the first time I went to Pusat Equine UPM, and I learned how to pick up the horse's leg. So that's the first time ever. And then the lecturer at that time, he wanted to test how observant are we. So we pick up the horse's leg, and then when we went into the lecture room, he said, draw what you have seen when you pick up the horse's leg. So we were all scrambling, trying to remember what we were saying. And of course, when you're not paying attention, you can't remember what you were observing, right? So I was not happy with myself. And I said, can I just go back outside and then pick up the horse's leg again? So yeah, by all means go, he said. So I went to the horse and asked the staff to hold the horse for me so that I can pick up the leg. And I look at the hoofs like hard, so because I wanted to remember. And the staff said, why don't you come here every weekend, help out the stable, and then you can learn more that way. Right. So that's how I started. So I came to the stable every Saturday just to help out with the horses, mark out stables, see how other people ride, and that's what I do.
Right. Is that when you started riding? Because I'm I think you're probably the only female vet.
I mean, there's a few,
right?
yeah, but yeah.
There are not many. I haven't seen many
Yeah.
lady vets who are riding. Is that when you started riding?
I started riding in UPM. So the opportunity given to me allow me to learn to ride, and at that time it was not that expensive, and I save up money so that I can pay for the lesson. So and when I came to Pusat Equine at that time, Pusat Equine UPM, and it's just my rezeki again. I walked to the arena, and at that time they just appointed arwah Sir Razak as trainer there from Police Diraja Malaysia to be stationed at Pusat Equine UPM, and he was just being appointed like a week or so like that. So the moment when I walked to the arena at that time, he was in the arena. So I walked to him and I said, I wanted to learn to ride. To whom shall I register to? Okay, and he called the manager to register me. So that's how I started.
Right. I'm sure it helps with your work as well, because you're looking at horses. When you're a vet for horses and being a rider, you will understand more, correct? How the horse moves, and
I think
it makes a difference, doesn't it?
I think that's what happened, because at first I'm very confident that I'm going to be small animal practitioner. I already know what I want to do already, because like I thought I want to do diagnostic imaging in small animals. So I've been following the radiologists around, and then the ultrasonography. Every time they do ultrasonography, I'll be there and hanging, because I wanted to do that diagnostic imaging in small animal. And but at the same time, when I was at my final year of DVM program, my coach, I remember that we had finished training, and I was on the horse, and my coach asked me, what do you want to do when you graduated? I mean, that's the final year. So I'm going to do small animal, I said.
Small animals are like dogs and cats?
Cats and dogs. Dogs, but I'm fond of dogs.
I love dogs. They're such intelligent animals.
Yes. And they listen to you, so that's good. So he said to me, why don't you consider equine, to be an equine vet, because you're already a rider. At that time I ride as for endurance for the university, so represent UPM for competitions. I went for competition in Malacca, Kedah, Terengganu was the last one. So and he said it's going to be an advantage because I'm a rider, and I understand the actual language that they are talking on the ground. And I said, I think that's a good idea. I'm going to think about it, I said. And I asked around. So at the faculty, I asked around, is equine a good thing for me to venture into? So a lot of feedback. So I went from I asked few lecturers, how do they get to pursue PhD to in certain fields that they want to, and say, you've got to get the blessing of the members of the faculty, the lecturers of faculty. So that's exactly what I did. So I went from one door to the next, saying like, I'm interested to do equine. Is there a possibility that the faculty will accept me? And they accept me. So I prepared a presentation for the head of department of my involvement with the horses and all the competitions that I went to, and my attachment training. I went for my equine training in DBKL at DBKL, and I learned a lot when I was at DBKL. I owe it to the DBKL officers who gave me the opportunity to help them with the horses, because I learned a lot. They let me do everything because they have the confidence in me to help their horses, and this is how I learn and evolve.
talking more about horses and DBKL horses and police horses, you're exposed to all kinds of horses, from endurance to jumping to dressage to polo, all kinds of horses. And I wouldn't be wrong to say that horses are the most versatile animal on the planet.
They're majestic.
They're majestic.
Majestic. I mean, only horse people can understand this.
Yes. They're one of they're amazing. And talking about all these different types of horses, they have different temperaments.
Yes.
Right. Putting aside their breed, what would you advise a beginner rider to ride? Would you advise them to go on a polo horse or a dressage horse or endurance horse? What is the best horse for a beginner rider to start riding on?
Okay, there's a few questions there already. I mean, beginner rider, that means whether small children or adult.
Oh, I see. Okay, let's talk about children.
Right. For children, I always see it because my daughter just started
right? Okay.
on the pony. So it's not too bad. Yeah. I mean, at least as a beginner, you need to have one calm horse or a calm pony, and then it will be helpful if the horses or the pony used for children are riding school horses. Best if they are schoolmaster. So.
Okay, what is that? Schoolmaster?
Like a horse that are very well trained, especially for training. And there are horses that are already, they understand how to help beginner riders to be better or to learn to get the right aids, especially with the legs and the hands.
Right.
And they'll be more forgiving. You know, with beginner riders, you tend to pull and hanging on the rein in that manner. And you need a forgiving horse to take that pressure and then just stay still. You know, so I think for if let's say for a beginner rider, it's always best to find a good coach. I am blessed. I'm so lucky, Alhamdulillah. The first time I learned to ride in a proper manner, I went to the right person. That's Sir Razak, because he's a dressage judge. He's a dressage rider, and I learned from the best.
Yeah, they were saying it's the dressage riders and jumpers. They're the best riders because they have a good seat.
Yes,
it's so important, isn't it, to have a very good seat?
Exactly, because the training. So my basic basic of the right way of doing it. You just don't ride like, sometimes we informally like just ride. As long as you are on the horse, you're okay. It's not that with dressage. So because my basic has been instilled in me in a strong manner that I remember, and it has become a lifelong learning that is like muscle memory to me. The way that I hold the rein is from the very beginning it has been correct. So it's a lot easier for you to learn and do more in equestrian sports, be in any sports. The thing is, when I was in the UK, I'm an endurance rider. So when I went to Scotland, I went to Glasgow. I ride in Glasgow. So the girls, they're all dressage and jumping, So with all their fancy outfit, and they all have their own horses, And I said, yeah, I have mine at home, but it belongs to the university, not mine. But yeah, but it's I've been so basically with the girls in the UK there. The horses when you don't your inner thigh is not that very strong. The moment the horse do this and that, and suddenly they just fell down. And I'm still on the horse, and I look at them. The horse just moves a bit, and then you are already on the ground.
So you are a better rider than those girls. Because of your training from
Sir Razak. I remember because I remember they look at me because I wore my endurance hat, and they wore their fancy hat, and I just have this hat. And well, endurance rider is always like the least fancy of any other disciplines, you know.
Especially in Malaysia, it's hot and you have to like ride for 80, 100 kilometers.
40, 80, 120, and 160. So I'm just the 40 kilometers. It's not that. At that time, it was like a big achievement for me already, you know. Hard work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, to stay on the horse for 40, 80 kilometers.
Yeah, like half a day on the horse. Yeah. Maybe you should try endurance too. That
maybe. Yeah, it'll be interesting actually. Yeah.
I mean, it's just because
it's a different type of riding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to enjoy the environment and the company of riding together with the horse.
Yeah. And the nature surrounding, going for 40, 80 kilometers.
Because when you go for the different, when you go for endurance, that means you have an objective to finish, to complete. So either whether you want to go fast or go slow or slowest as you can, it doesn't matter as long as you complete. Right. So that's your objective.
Yeah. It's like running a marathon. You just want to complete it.
Yes. Like when you're playing polo, your objective is to score as much goal, right? When I'm doing dressage, I want to do a very good dressage test so that I can get marks. So it's a different objective altogether, the different disciplines. Yeah.
You also initiated and trained volunteers for riding for autistic children.
This is something I started few years back. I've got my sister. She's into special education for the special children. So when she was in Australia, she suggested for me to look into or explore into hippotherapy, she said, or riding therapy. It depends on the term that you use. So I said, I'll think about it, I said. So, every day I'm at the stable looking at horses and checking clients' horses. So, when she came back from Australia to have a short break, she came with me. We were supposed to have lunch, but suddenly the client called for me to look at the horse. So I said, you just join me, come and see the horse. So, we went to the stable. And then I checked the horse and she chatted with one of the groom. And the groom have got a special condition. And she said to me, can I interview the students for my PhD? Up to you, I said. Because she's studying special education, and then that's how it sparked me to look into how horses help people with disability.
Right. So how does it help? I mean, I see a lot of centres doing this for
so
special
from
children.
there on, I start to volunteer at Riding for the Disabled Association Malaysia in Ampang, and I followed their program. They have their riding therapy sessions Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So I usually join on Tuesday to help out. At first I just, because I'm a horse person already, so I know how to walk the horse and then lead the horse. So I always be the horse leader. So after that, after the horse leader is not so much of a difficult part for me, because that's what I do every day, leading the horse. So the next challenge is for me to learn to become the side helper, side walker. So this is where, as a side walker, you need to engage and communicate with the special children. And this is a revealing moment for me, because in my life I have no exposure to special children. And when I volunteered at RDA Malaysia, it gives you a different feeling with the children. You wanna enjoy the moment with them. You want them to enjoy the horse riding session. So you communicate, you engage, you encourage them, and I think this is indescribable. Why the volunteers we keep coming and volunteer is because of the satisfaction that we have in us. It humbles us in a way that there's a lot of things in this world, and we are here for different role and purpose. And volunteering give you the feeling of able to do something to help. And my sister used a bombastic word that's called inclusivity. She said, okay. and that's true as well.
Such a big word nowadays, inclusivity. Yeah. But it's really amazing how horses can even help special children as a therapy.
And you are the witness of this. And it amazes you because I look at horses with passion and feeling. And when you look at the horse also at ease when they are with the special children.
Right, they know that there's a special child on them.
Yes, right. And they don't even you feel the feeling of there's no judgment, and the children, they don't have to say a word. You know, and this is something special that only the people who involved in this understand. And of course, it's more for the parents. For example, when we take the children for the riding therapy session, the parents get a break and to just rest for a while. You know, just if they enjoy to play phones, whatever it is, because we are in charge. So, and then that's lift of a burden a bit for them. The least we could do, you know, because we have so much, and then this is what we can give, you know, a bit of a time of our energy, and then to make the child feels better, appreciated, and they've got activity to do, and to see them feeling. It's not happy, they feel elated. It's the feeling. Some children, they are very happy, you can see it. And some children, they are scared, but after that they open up, and then that's how they feel more comfortable.
Yeah, because with a horse, unlike other pets, you know, you can cats and dogs, you just stroke them, and it's just touching.
Exactly.
Whereas with a horse, you're actually on the horseback,
and you feel
the child
the
is actually on
movement.
a horseback. Yeah, so
and I think the horse have got huge empathy for these children. I remember
amazing animals, empathy.
I remember that we conducted a session in UPM, in which under my club Putra Equestrian Club, UPM, a group of students that are trained as volunteers. So we have our session every Sunday morning, 7 o'clock. The children must be on the horse already. So this group of students, they are really learning to handle the horse, to manage the children, and at the end of the day, all of us agree that it's we all feel satisfied, even though this is all hard work. And one of the children, Alia, she shouted, she screamed, basically screamed mad, and we've got a video of her screaming throughout the arena. But Hobo, the horse, just look at her like that, and
it just remained calm. Wasn't agitated or anything like that.
Exactly. And then Hobo would look at her like, it's okay, scream all your might.
Oh, that's
sweet.
sweet.
You know? Oh my God, Hobo. And Hobo is the first horse that I rode. I first learned to walk and trot and canter on Hobo.
Oh.
So he's so dear to me. So whenever we have under my Putra Equestrian Club, we have this Kuda Angkat program. So the students will come every Sunday to help take care of some of our horses. So Hobo is one of them.
Right. Apart from horses, you also look at large animals.
Yes.
And I've been to the hospital in UPM. I've seen cows. I've seen goats. Yeah, I mean, I in fact carried some of those cute little goat kids.
Yes.
How large do you go when it comes to animals? Do you like treat elephants?
Right. I've operated on a giraffe once.
Right.
So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, a huge giraffe, a male giraffe. It has been injured by a Bali bull with the big horn, in which they got a fight, and the bull just ran his horn onto the giraffe abdomen.
Where did this happen?
Oh, years ago.
Okay.
So we had to do. We were called to do surgery if we can manage to repair that injury onto that giraffe. So it was an interesting situations, because we need to have the perhilitan to shoot the giraffe for us, because we don't have the rifle to shoot.
So what was this giraffe that you needed perhilitan to shoot it down? Well,
because
just
they
to sedate it, right?
Yeah, to sedate it because they have the right drugs.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and they have the rifle to shoot.
Right. Was it like in a zoo?
Yeah.
Or it was in a zoo.
Yeah, it was in a zoo setting.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing the operation inside the enclosure of the zoo because it's not easy to catch the giraffe to do the surgery at our place. So we've got to do it at the field. So that's an experience of a lifetime. I have to credit the anesthetics team because we have got a good team of anesthetists. So and we start from our anesthetists can go from the biggest species to the smallest species. So I have got to credit them because without the anesthetist, there's no way I can do a surgery. So and it's always a teamwork. So that's the giraffe that we get to do. Yeah.
So this anesthetist is especially for animals?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, they're veterinarians, so we identify ourselves as a team, and then for me, I've got my surgery team, so the surgeons, and then we've got the anesthetists as a team, and then we've got a few other teams like the reproduction team. So, for example, if let's say we need to do cesarean sections, we need 3 teams: the anesthetists, the surgeons, and then the reproductive team to the moment the baby is out, then there's another team. So there's so many people in the OT.
Right. Okay. It's like a human. Yeah. I never realized that for animals they have their own anesthetist and pediatrician,
exactly.
gynecologist.
Exactly. You see, that's what we said with our teammate because he's the in Malay we call it bidan, and he has got a long arm.
Oh gosh,
that's an advantage.
Right.
He's skinny with a long arm, so he's the perfect one to do this because whenever we have a baby stuck, like cattle or horse, the baby sometimes can get stuck and not able to come out. So this is where we need our gynecologist with the long arm to swipe and manipulate so that the baby can come out.
Right.
There's a lot of energy. Because the animal will still be contracting, you know, and you've got to you have to have got the energy to be able to manipulate the baby inside the womb to come out.
Right.
So the
animals being huge, in huge animals.
Yes.
Is there a risk of the arm getting stuck inside?
Yes.
Really?
Remember, when I was pregnant, my second baby, I thought I can do the pregnancy diagnosis test, pregnancy diagnostic test by ultrasound. So we need to put our arm inside the rectum, the backside of the horse, and with the ultrasound probe in the hand, and then check on the baby. So what happened was, because you need a lot of energy, I was at that time low glucose. I almost fainted while my arm is inside there, and I quickly get out and then sit down, and after that we set a rule: anybody who's pregnant after this cannot put their hand inside, just because to make sure that we don't faint while we put our hand is still inside the horse. So I learned the hard way. So after that we take care of each other. And then because we've got so many veterinarian ladies, so we've got to take turns.
And talking about zoo animals, they would have to have a vet for like dolphins, a different vet for pandas. There's a huge demand for vets because you need a different vet for different animals.
Agree. The most lucrative is the small animal veterinarians, that's the cats and dogs, and then all the other among the other famous one that people chose to look to go into are the zoo animals or wildlife, and then equine, and then what do you call that? Like vet for dolphins. They like aquatic vets. They just do fishes,
right?
Or all the aquatic animals.
There was once when because I have some fish at home, and one of the fishes, koi, it looks not well. So I didn't know what to do. So I brought it to my cats and dogs vet, and I said, "Can you help my fish?" So I can't do it. I said, why not? You're a vet. I said, no, I only do cats and dogs. Yes. So that's when I realized, oh gosh, different vets for different animals.
Yes, true. And I know my uncle is like he got a big ikan kelisa in the big in the aquarium. He said, I think he's sick. He said to me, and I look at the fish and I said, I agree with you. He's dull and he's not swimming as much. What do I do with it? Maybe you're going to change water? Because we do, for me, I just do horses now. So I've forgotten all the small animal, like cats and dogs medicine, or like wildlife medicine, or exotic, like a tortoise, for example, a turtle, for example. I wouldn't know where to find the blood vessels, because I didn't spend my time and effort into exotic animals so much, medicine. So I am more into surgery and into large animal surgery. So when I came back, there's a lot there's not yet set up of equine surgery, horse surgery or large animal surgery, but we have the facility already. The moment when I came back in 2012, the facility has been built. So basically I have got to figure out, because there's no team at that moment. It was just me and me alone. So I said to the head of department, please give me staff that we can train for the team for large animal surgery. And that's how we start small. And then
and I see a lot of ladies following you, lady vets, lady students, going to the stables, and you look very cool. A group of ladies looking at horses.
And the ladies all wearing coveralls, and the horses will be scared of us because we're wearing coveralls.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes for anxious horses, I'm going to say, students, we're all wearing coveralls, so we don't want to show that. Because the horses know when we come in with our coveralls, they are going to be injected,
Oh, right, okay.
So sometimes the outfit may also cause them to fear us, But I agree with you. We've got a lot of ladies.
Oh, is it due to a lady head of department of farm and exotic animals?
I think this is happening all over the world.
Right.
To get into vet schools, you've got to have good academic results, and definitely girls are way beyond, and they just overachieving themselves, and naturally they get into all these high demand courses like veterinary program, and for boys, they have the interest, but they need to show more of their interest and show it in academic performance, then they get listed into vet schools, because the system said it that in order to be considered for veterinary program, you've got to score very well. So if let's say you go for matriculation program or foundation program, your score must be 3.6 and above. If you can't reach 3.6 for you for matrix or foundation, your opportunity to get into this program will be very least, I have to say, because a lot of students applying for veterinary programs, and most of them are ladies. And if you are to interview 10 students, maybe 6 will be ladies.
Oh, that's encouraging. I'm looking forward to see more. Equine vets, especially.
You see, when I was in the UK, there's a lot of people work for the horses, ladies, and for vets, yes, we've got one vet, and the rest of us are ladies. So just one vet. One man vet, and the rest of us are ladies.
And how would you find time to do everything that you do? Because you're a lecturer, head of department, so you lecture students. You attend to patients, clients. You go out and look at horses and treat them. You do surgery on horses.
Yes.
You write academic papers.
Yes. That's the most difficult part.
Yes. How do you find the time to do all this in 24 hours? And you have small children, right? Your
Yes,
children are
I've
still
got-
relatively young.
Yes, my
Yeah.
youngest is 2 years. Just
2 years
just
old.
turned 2 years old. Right. So this is the secret, but I'm going to tell you.
All right, okay.
So I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 a.m. every day.
4 a.m.
Wow, okay.
And then first thing in the morning, I would, if I need to respond to emails, I respond to emails first. So sometimes people will receive emails like 4:15, 4:30, and by 5 o'clock, the latest I must out of the house by 5:15.
You're out of the house at 5:15.
5 o'clock to 5:15.
Wow, okay.
And then when I arrive at the stable, take up the horse and ride at 6.
You ride every morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Except on Monday.
Except on Mondays.
Yeah. So training 6 o'clock until like 45 minutes just before subuh ends, because now subuh is a bit later. So let's say 6:45, and then by 7:30 I go. I'm done, and then go to the office. So do all the office work. If I need to, if I'm scheduled to see horses, I'm gonna see the horses at the stables. Usually I go and see horses on Thursday, and depends if I need to do surgery. Usually we plan on Wednesday or Thursday, depends on schedule. So after that, in the afternoon, if I need to see the horses again, I'll go to the stable and check on the horses, and then pick up the baby at the nursery, and then cook dinner. By 9 o'clock, we all retired to bed already.
Right.
So 9 o'clock. Last time I had the habit of, before I start this timetable, I used to work long hours until late midnight. Like midnight, I'm still at the office. But I don't think that's a healthy lifestyle, you know. And I see the pattern of I'm doing now is much better because you are focused. And the horse force you to focus. You know, you've got only this time frame, so you just got to do this. You don't have time to waste time, have a lengthy meetings that is not productive. So everything has got to be fast paced. You know, it's just because you just only have this number of hours. And preparation for it, it's important so that you can execute it in a timely manner, because you don't have that much time anyway. So
yeah, and your kids, they would be very supportive in what you're doing, right?
Yes.
Because
so I bring them to the stable to help out, you know, so that they learn that in this life we need to also contribute, and then move the muscle, you know.
yeah,
Just don't play the game, you know.
right, yeah, healthy lifestyle, you know, riding, be out there,
Yeah. Feed the horse, prepare the food.
Yeah, and you do everything. You even clean the stables.
Yeah.
I just learned that you take only 15 minutes to
Fast
do one
yeah.
stable.
The
That's
difference-
amazing. Actually, it's not easy.
The difference is because
Yeah.
when you do it every day, that means the stable is well kept. If you do it every other day or 3 days once, and that's where you need to do. You spend a lot of time because it has got to be marked out with more work because it's not done every day. So. The same with us. If let's say we have so much dishes in the sink and we decided to procrastinate and just let it be there, it's going to be there and it's going to be more, and you've got to spend more time on it, right? Rather than you keep doing it and then tidy it up, and then you don't have to spend so much time on it. And then of course I've got help. I've got a husband that really understands what I'm doing. So from young, when I was in the university as well, he understand that this is my way of life.
Did he follow you to do when you did the PhD?
Oh yes,
in Glasgow.
We got married just before I flew to Glasgow. So he followed me under the scheme. So he helped me with my PhD.
Alright.
Because my specimens are so huge and heavy, and sometimes I've got to wait for him to come back from work to help me.
Specimens. What specimens are these?
Because I'm working with, I'm studying the blood vessels to the brain of the horse. So my specimens are horses' cadaver. So I need to run X-ray and fluoroscopy, the machine that runs over the head, the machine that runs like that, a C-arm we call it. So
he helped you with your specimens.
Exactly. And he said to me once, if he studied very well last time, he would be a surgeon now, he said. I said, my surgeon. He understands the anatomy of the blood vessel well because he helped
you throughout.
Exactly. So I owe my PhD to him because without his sacrifice, there's no way I can do this. The same here now, we've got 4 children and he helped a lot. Coming out of a house at 5 o'clock in the morning, that means he has got to do everything with all the kids.
Yeah, he's got to get them ready for school and...
Yeah, but he's so good at this because when we had our firstborn in the UK, in the UK there's nobody to help. There's no mother, there's no mother-in-law, there's nobody else. It's just you and your husband and the baby. So he learned from the best. He learned from the nurses in the Prince. I cannot remember the name of hospital already, but the nurses taught him very well how to handle the babies and how to care for the babies. For the baby, our firstborn. So he took care of everything. After I gave birth to my firstborn, 2 months later, I need to go to Finland for a conference. So the baby with him at 2 months old, and I have got to go on my own because I cannot make passport for the baby because he's born in the UK. So either I registered him as a Malaysian citizen or UK passport. So I said, that's too much hassle. Just let me just go on my own. So at 2 months old, he's with the baby already.
And you're off to Finland. You were off to Finland. Your studies.
But I think
that's amazing to have that support system, which is essential really for anyone, be it man or woman, to progress and to do what they want to do. That support system is essential. Talking about your qualification and just to touch a bit on your academic papers, I read that in one of the academic papers that you co-wrote, it's about the sleeping patterns of horses in selected stables in Malaysia. I've always wondered, when a horse sleeps, do they go into deep sleep, into the beta mode, or like human beings, or when they're on all fours and they have their eyes closed, are they really sleeping? How do horses sleep actually?
All right. Okay. Yeah, this is an interesting observation as well because I live my life in the stables most of the time, and this is something that I wanted to do. When you are trained researcher, you want everything to be measured, and you want to have something to be compared with, and then categorize it as a result. So this is where the thinking comes in. So the idea is to see the pattern. First, how long the horses sleep. So we put in a timer. So we've got a period of time that we are going to observe the horses at daytime and nighttime and see how long they take the period of sleep. So we need to define first how do they sleep. So there are a few patterns. How do they sleep? So most of the time, because a horse is fight or flight, and most of the time they choose flight, that means to run away. So they're always on the ready mode.
Okay.
So that means when they sleep, this is one of the pattern of sleeping. When they sleep, they just lock their hind legs. They have a stay apparatus to just lock their legs and then just nod off. And that moment of nod off is not that very long. It's about 5 minutes to 7 minutes, and they will be sleeping standing.
All right.
Just standing like that, doze off like that. Right. But that's sleeping. Is that a deep sleep? Some researchers says, that's a deep sleep for the horse.
5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah. So it depends.
Like power nap.
Like power nap for us. Right. And then, but it's going to be there'll be a time, quarter of time in the day that they have this moment of they wanted to sleep, the quiet time at the stables. So if and this is the standing part. But when we talk to many horse people, say, "Oh, this horse sleeps like a log." Yes, they do. There are horses that sleeps on the ground. That means recumbent on this either sternum. That means they sit down and then doze off like that, or straight away sleep like that. So we documented this all and put it on the paper, and then it has been published. So what are the difference between the horse that are standing, that they are ready the moment there's a threat, they are ready to run away when they sleep standing, or when they sleep sitting down on sternal position, or when they sleep like that, like give it all out and sleep like a log on the ground. So it depends on the nature of the stable. If they have the trust, they are comfortable with the environment, they have been domesticated at best, and they feel not threatened, they will sleep longer on the ground.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
So when you see...
It's amazing for horse owners to know, yeah?
Yeah, if let's say, imagine if you have a stable near the highway, there's too much noise going on, and the horse will be much more alerted because they are always disturbed. But if let's say you are in a stable setting that is calm and serene, you can see them at certain times of the day. They're gonna be more comfortable and quiet, and that's where they're gonna either lie down, on sitting down and sleeping, or on their side. So, and this is how also as a horsewoman, when I see the horses sleeping comfortably, that means they are so comfortable. They are not in the situation where they want to run away all the time, but they do need to sleep standing, because this is by nature. This is how they sleep in the field. It's not common for them to be sleeping on the ground that much. I mean, imagine the threat at the field. If they say they don't have that luxury to be sleeping in that manner when they are not in a stable setting.
You're right. Because by nature they are wild animals. So the fight or flight mode will always be there.
I think I need to also do comparison. I need to do the same thing at the horses that are being kept in paddock. Like in Australia or in the UK, where they have horses kept in paddock. In Malaysia, we kept our horses mostly in stables, and not as in a paddock, big paddock. We don't have such a big paddock with high quality grass anyway to start off with, to let the horse roaming in the paddock. So I think that's another comparison that we can do. In Malaysia, the quality of the sleeping pattern depends on their stable setting.
That's something very important to know, actually, for horse owners. The stable setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's if the environment is there's too much going on. For example, there's competition going on at the stable. You're gonna see the horse will be alert all the time, and if you time them, the quality of sleep will definitely be differ, because they are more alert all the time, and they wouldn't be sleeping like that because there's so much going on.
I suppose it's good also to put some shade or to do whatever you can to make it
comfortable for
the horses.
I think the best for the horses is that because the way we kept our horse, we have to keep our horses in the stable. That's our setting here in Malaysia. So we need to bring them out as much as we could. Like ideally twice a day, in the morning, in the afternoon. So that means the horses have got to come out of their box daily, and this is hard work. If you have to ride the horse and then in the afternoon you've got to walk the horse, this is all hard work, but it has got to be done because
you have to be responsible horse owners.
Exactly. When we decided we want to be in this, that means we are going to commit to this standard of protocols that been not set, but standards of care, because the horse will rely on us, because the nature of our setting of care the horse has got to be stabilized. So you've got to care for the well-being of the horse inside the box. So the environment of the box has got to be taken into consideration. Definitely
Enough
the bedding.
sawdust for
Yes.
sure. Yeah, to make sure there's enough sawdust, because that's all they have for their bedding.
Exactly. And the hoof. And then why we want the sawdust to be changed daily, because of the hoof. You see the word no hoof, no horse. That's exactly true. So the basic horse management has got to be there first. You've got to be understood by many, so that we can be fair to the horse. So every day this is a commitment to care for the horse. That means you've got to take the horse out of the box. And if you cannot do it, then have somebody else to do it for you.
I totally agree. By nature, they're supposed to be out there in the wild, running around.
Yes.
But it's unfortunate that we have to keep them in a box because of lack of space, especially especially in the city.
It's our setting.
It is our setting. Yeah.
So we can't blame them if they are not happy with us, because we subject them to be in the stable. So at least the least you can do to walk them out to graze. And this is what I do with the university student. When you have the time, bring the horses out, take them out for grazing. It will do. It will be healing moment for the horse and for you, But you must learn how to handle the horse first. So basic handling, safety. You've got to wear shoes,
Yes.
So those things.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you, Dr. Nurul Hayah. I've learned a lot. I think I'm going to read some of your academic papers. Can a lay person, a non-medical person, understand those academic papers?
Okay.
Are they very technical? Especially on the sleeping pattern of horses. I would love to read that.
Yeah, I'll send you the paper, and I'll also send the papers to many of our volunteers at RDA Malaysia, for those who want to read, because not everybody wants to read like academic papers, and I make the effort to make use of all the content of my academic papers to be relate to common public, because not everybody is in the medical line.
Yes, yeah.
And we all speak in the jargon language.
But hoping that I can understand your academic papers. Even 60% would do. If I can understand.
And I see also as well the need for this to have a program, so that people can ask, or what do you want to ask related to this veterinary field, because a lot of people have a lot of questions, but they don't know where to ask, and sometimes we don't have a platform for them to ask. Only when they call us for veterinary consultation that they get to ask, but the rest of the time they have no else to ask, and that's where they rely on YouTube, on influences that don't know which origin, So I think this is something that maybe I could help out with. Maybe I set up podcast
just on horses. Podcast on horses.
Just the horses talk, we talk all about horses. Oh, maybe, don't know. But I think this is a need, because and sometimes even though I try to bring in visiting professors from overseas to come over here, a lot of people, the feedback is always it's better in bahasa, let's say. So I understand, because a lot of our public also, they are more comfortable to speak in bahasa, because they understand better, which this is something I must look into, so that at the end of the day, I believe we want to empower our society, horse society in Malaysia, is through education. And I think Universiti Putra Malaysia is the perfect place for that. We've got our own stables, and then the veterinary doctors are there at the faculty. So we are there, but we need to come up with the platform so that we can engage more nearer to the community and to the public, so that people can ask,
There's a channel for us to get answers, because sometimes I suppose horse owners are a bit scared to ask vets for questions because your charges are quite high. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to ask her for advice. We don't want to ask for free advice, but at the same time, how much are they going to charge us?
I think we need to get away from this thinking of sentiment. So perhaps later we'll think about this so that there's a pathway that people can ask. And I agree with you. Sometimes I also have questions for the doctors or for the lawyers or for whoever professionals in this country or outside, but you don't know where to ask. You want to validated, verified information, right, that you can rely on, you know, and then I think this is something for me. Discussion with clients and owner is something that mine. How to say? Growing something like a discussion that enriching the mind for both sides, me and clients, for example. And sometimes I just spend a lot of times discussing with them. Like if let's say they say their horse have just recovered from tendon injury, so they wanted to go back for racing, endurance racing. So how best can we do this? So let's follow this horse, you know. So we follow with time, and of course, with this kind of discussions, it's how to say, togetherness, and it's good if let's say we have a platform for discussion, and client will not be concerned if they have to pay for the consultation, you know. And it's not consultation for the case, but asking questions so that they can improve better, you know.
Yeah, for the well-being, for the benefit of the horses ultimately.
Definitely. And I think this is the best platform because we are with the university. So with university, we are not profit-making body, you know. So this is something that we definitely, I definitely will look into, and then perhaps set up a platform.
Well, thank you, Doctor, for being here. Certainly, I'm sure what you've shared has benefited not just horse owners, school leavers, those who are interested in equine.
I think this is something, you know, for the girls, if they are looking forward to be vets later, they are looking forward for future to be veterinarians. Please don't say you love animals only. Love alone is not enough, because you need to have the grit. And
grit, hard work,
and sacrifice, and along the way you've got to have a background, like what have you done any volunteering work before to get near to the field, because when you did not put your leg into that field, you think that it's all so good. That's all they watch on TV, right, or on YouTube. Oh, so good, you want to be vets. But the truth of being vets, only vets know, right? The difficulty that you have got to go through, and but it's rewarding. Inside. So it's always from inside. It's not because somebody tell you, or you think you can do it. You just need to go into it, volunteer yourself, get attached, volunteer yourself for programs, attachment, involve those things. Or if let's say you have the luxury of getting involved to learn to ride, that's another advantage as well. Like in Australia or in the UK, people get to learn to ride from young, and that develop them.
They have their pony clubs and all.
Exactly, right? So that helps, those kind of things, because so that they would develop themselves into veterinarians with true compassion. Not money oriented.
That's important, isn't it? To have compassion for animals, especially animals that give unquestioningly.
Yes.
Okay, that's a bit of a tongue twister.
To the last beat of the heart.
Yes, of course. All right. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Certainly been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Datin. Take care as well.